Presenting Channeling Erik's Hour of Enlightenment.
Hello, this guy's like Channeling Erik's Hour of Enlightenment. Let's make sure we enunciate every single syllable, but I love them anyway. So, hey guys, this is Lisa here, and I have Michelle Gray at the-arts.com. Hi, Michelle. And we got our boy, newly minted Archangel Erik, and our special guest today, Michelle Christopher, who is an evidential medium. He's going to share his journey. And first of all, I want to say hello to everybody. And I love you, Erik.
Erik says, I love you, Mama. I love you. He says, hi, everybody. He's sending hugs to everybody, too. Hugs and kisses.
Some people might actually feel it. All right, so I guess we should just go ahead and not stop, go, and just go directly to jail. I don't know what we should use for the Monopoly game metaphors, but Michael, go ahead and tell us your story. Share it. The mic is yours.
Well, thank you.
Michael, the mic is yours.
Mike. Thank you very much, you guys, for having me. I appreciate it. Michelle and I go way back. Yeah, so 2015, because I think shortly after, it's in the story, but I think that's around the time Michelle and I met. So we've known each other for quite a while.
Yes.
Wow. I don't know if Michelle would think that's a good thing or not, but anyway.
No, that's a good thing. Of course it is. Of course it is. Erik brought us all together. Yes.
Yeah. And it's I tried to keep my story brief because I could definitely drag it out, but it's, I'll have to say this, looking back now, what's happening to me right here, right now, I never saw it coming. And people that have heard my story before, I'm sorry, you're going to have to hear it again here, because I know there's probably a few listeners that have heard it, but hey, it is what it is. Hindsight's always 20/20. The journey, it's crazy. So I'll try to keep in a linear kind of, storyline with this, but it kind of does kind of bounce around. So I will say until the age of, I will say up until the age of 45, I had no idea that I had any kind of abilities whatsoever. I had never had an experience in my life, as far as paranormal, any interaction with spirit, it was kind of just nothing. I was just going about my business, living my own life. So I'll start, I am retired military. I served 20 years in the Air Force.
Well, thank you for your service.
Well, appreciate that. So I'll start in 97, because looking back now, I mean, obviously you can't see things laying out ahead of you and not knowing what their purpose is. Some people never find out what their purpose is, but I... Unfortunately, because of these events that I'm about to talk about, kind of lay the groundwork for what I'm doing now. So my mom remarried around the same time I got married. So remarried, my mom did, back in I'm sorry. When spirit's around me, I start to stutter. So
well, they can be overwhelming.
Yeah. So back in my wife and I got married in 91. That's around the same time my mom remarried. And when my mom remarried, her husband had two sons, which I knew. We all grew up in the same area. So I knew these guys before, and when I found out they were now my stepfather, I'm like, oh boy, trouble's about to begin. But so my brother Jason and Danny were both born with cystic fibrosis. So they lived with that their whole life. And I'll just, like I said, I'm just going to kind of just go through this, so I can save some time. So Jason was the older of the two, but at age 26, he came to that end of that road. He was on the transplant list, and then 2 weeks before his transplant, he just began to go downhill, and they called off the surgery because there was no chance that he would survive it. So he ended up passing in 97 at age 26 from complications from CF. And then fast forward to 2000, this is around the time I was halfway through my Air Force career. I was diagnosed with kidney disease, IgA nephropathy. And I know that you're a doctor, so you probably understand that.
Yes, burgers, yeah.
Yep. So when I was diagnosed, it was fairly progressed. I was dumping almost 5.5 grams of protein a day. So it was, and the thing is, I had no physical symptoms. I would have not known anything was going on. So, they told me, hey, you need to get this checked. So I did, biopsy, all that. Turns out, yep, IgA nephropathy. Diagnosis was basically, we're going to try to do what we can to slow it down, but it's going to eventually lead to kidney failure. I was like, oh, good. So that, looking back, though, that was a pretty significant life event and a very good lesson now that I look back, because it actually taught me right then and there to live every day for what it is. Don't worry about tomorrow, because I had to force myself to live that way. Or else, I could lose my mind by worrying and let that control every motivation I have for anything going forward. So I just said, I literally would have to look at myself and say, how do you feel today? Everything's good. That's all that matters. So it was, a really good lesson back then. So 2001, originally we're from upstate New York. So 2001, the New York City, the Trade Center gets hit. 2 days after that, my brother Danny was on the transplant list for a lung transplant. He got called to the city. He had his transplant. Everything went fine. 2001. So we fast forward. I think it was around 2007 he began to experience rejection. So his lungs started to reject. The thing is, with CF, they don't normally attempt a second transplant because the chances of survival are less than 20%. But Pittsburgh Hospital actually took him on as a patient and said, we will do this. So he ended up getting another lung transplant. And he went through the surgery fine. Everything was going good. 2009, I retired from the Air Force. And not even a year later, my kidneys started to fail. It was about February that they started, going downhill. So I ended up having to start dialysis around May of 2010. Luckily, they knew it was coming, so they started the transplant, list, or not list, but getting family members tested. My other brother, he tested positive match. Everything was good. We had a surgery date set for September of that year. So I was only on dialysis at that point, I think 4 months. We get to 2 weeks before the surgery. My brother ends up getting a staph infection, which turns MRSA, and they called off the surgery. They said he can no longer be a donor.
Gosh.
So, and I kept a pretty healthy attitude, though, through dialysis. I did pretty well. I mean, compared to some of the people that were going through. I just, again, it taught me to live for the day. And I always, I had that option. I was like, I have the option where my brother Jason did. And it sucks being kept alive by a machine, but I'm alive. I have a chance. And that's, kind of what I kept in the back of my mind that whole time. It's like, he didn't get that chance.
You have to be a victim.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the nurses, this is not me saying it. The nurses loved me. I always came into that place with a smile. I was always in a good mood. It's like, this is my life. I'm not going to just bitch and moan about things. It's like, I'm good.
Yeah, because it does not do any good. I mean, you're so right. I think it's an amazing lesson for all, well, not all the listeners, but just a lot of listeners. Yeah, it just doesn't do any good to be a victim, to be a pawn on the chessboard. Be the chess player, moving the pawns around in the direction you want to go in. You're so encouraging, and then it's all about perspective. You decided to turn this into a lesson that enriches your life and probably other people's lives too. So good for you. I'm sorry, go ahead. I just had to say that.
Oh, no, it's fine. And I did. I would continue going to work. I played golf. Yeah, my energy was low, but I exercised. I made it a point to exercise every day. It wasn't what I was used to, but I did as much as I could because it kept me feeling normal. It made me feel normal. It was like mental health was super critical, so it was something that just kept me normal, so I did as much as I could. And not only that, but it prepared me for transplant. I was still physically fit. I was good to go, and I wanted to stay that way. So again, my brother was not a donor. I'm left to, another brick in the wall. Yeah, for about an hour, I was like, oh, shit, crap, here we go. It doesn't matter. All I got is I'm good. Not even probably a week later, I had a friend of mine who was still active duty. He reached out and he said, I heard something about you needing a kidney? And I thought he was just asking me just for, I thought he was curious. And he said, well, I said, why? What's going on? He goes, well, I want to donate. I was like, what?
Wow.
Yeah, it was crazy. I hadn't talked to him in probably a year or so. We had been stationed together, so we knew each other. At this point, he was in Mississippi and I was in North Dakota. And I know being in the Air Force, I was like, wow, to be able to get this approved to the Air Force, I figured this is going to take forever. Fortunately, the hospital commander found out what he was trying to do, and they actually have Air Force regulations where you can do this program. You just got to get medically cleared for it. He had clearance within, I think, 7 days, and he was good to go.
Wow.
He did the test. He actually matched better than my birth brother. It was like crazy.
Oh my God! Seriously?
It was because they do markers,
that's
and
some divine intervention. Divine intervention, man.
Oh yeah. So
I agree.
It was actually, I had my transplant on Pearl Harbor Day, December 7th of 2010. He flew up from Mississippi. We went through the surgery. Both of us did fine. He was out of the hospital in a week. So was I. I had a minor complication about 3 weeks into it. My first checkup back, they admitted me. They're like, we think it's rejection. I was like, oh boy. And long story short, it ended up being just lymphatic fluid. There was a little cell of fluid built up over the kidney. It was just irritating it. So they just had to go in and just do a minor surgery to take care of that.
Okay.
So, it was good. So, I get through that, and again, I'm just moving through this really quick, but we advance up to 2012. Danny, my brother, develops kidney failure. And it's like, holy crap, the medication we take for rejection is really toxic. What's that?
Oh, yes, yeah. Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. Oh, yeah.
So his kidneys start failing, which he had to start dialysis. So, I mean, this guy, talk about people to look up.
What's next, Locust?
Oh, no, there's more. This doesn't end with Danny. But he ended up passing in 2012. He ended up developing lymphoma cancer in his lungs, and he passed at 42.
Wow. Jeez.
So, it was just crazy. But looking back, both those guys, both my brothers, it was just, if I had a moment, where I started to maybe let that, devil creep in and start, I looked to those two because what they went through doesn't compare, But then, what this is kind of where things started to happen. So if that's not enough, 2015, I'm sitting at work one day. My mom calls. She says, "I just got off the phone with my aunt. My sister is stabbed." And I was like, "What?" And she goes, "That's all we know right now, And as soon as we find out, we'll get more." So I find out my sister Jackie, she was a youngest sister. She was my half sister with my dad's second marriage. She was alone in her barber shop on a Friday afternoon in her barber shop. Someone came in to steal drug money, ended up stabbing her in the neck. She barely made it out to the street, collapsed. She was 32. She was like 5 days away from her 33rd birthday. 2 days later, they had to take her off life support because she was basically essentially brain dead from loss of, blood. So, looking back, I'm like, holy, you just can't make this stuff up. And again, I'll give you her perspective on all this. But so, again, up until this point, still had no idea that I was a medium, I had abilities, none of this. So this is kind of where CE comes in and where everything starts happening. So it had been probably a month or two after Jackie's passing. It was still unsolved. They didn't know. I go downstairs to work out one day, and I open YouTube and open this video. There's this woman channeling this woman's son, Erik, and it was Jamie Butler. And the only mediums I had encountered were like John Edward. I've been watching him for years. I read books, so I knew what mediums were, but no idea how they worked. So I'm watching this, and I was like, holy crap. after I was done working out, I went to the website and I saw that they had the psychic side, or I think that was when they were working with unsolved cases or something. So I reached out. I messaged or I emailed and I said, hey, is there anybody here that can point me at least in the right direction to working with unsolved cases? And Jan Bakke and Linda Hack both replied. Yeah. So they didn't ask a thing of themselves. We started talking, and they started, a little here and there, giving me information, and I would send it back home. So I started to build this friendship with the two of them. And
great people.
Oh yeah. And I think it was probably a week or so after that first contact. This is where things started getting weird. I got up for work. Yeah, I got up for work one morning, and I'm an air traffic controller. That's what I did in the Air Force, and I'm still doing that now on the civilian side.
Wow.
So I'm up early, getting ready to go to work, and in the kitchen alone. There's nobody there. I feel somebody standing behind me. I could have swore somebody just walked up behind me, and I look, and it's just me and my wife in the house at the time, and there was nobody there. All of a sudden, in my mind, I picture my sister in my head, and I see her standing behind me, and I see her walking up to me, and I feel this energy. And in my mind, I see her. She comes up behind me, and she puts her arms around me, and she kind of lays her head on my shoulder. She just hugs me.
Oh.
Wow.
Yeah. And I'm like, again, I've never had an experience like this. So I'm like, I froze. I'm like, what is going on here? And she probably stayed there about 20 seconds or so and then kind of slowly backed off. Yeah. Yeah. It was crazy. And, so that I had that, and it just left me like, what the hell just happened? It took me probably about a week or so before I'd even said anything. And actually, I think it was Linda. We were on a Skype call together, and we're talking. And I was like, Linda, I had this experience the other day. I haven't told anybody about it. I still don't know I didn't even tell her what it was. And she validated. She goes, your sister's here, and she's saying that she hugged you.
Oh, my God.
I was like, what?
Oh. Wow.
Yeah, it was crazy. And from there, I'll talk about one more thing, and then I'll stop chattering here. But
I'm loving it. No, because there's so many golden teachable moments in everything you're saying right now. That I want everyone to absorb and integrate into their lives, into the very fabric of their being and their soul and their heart. But go ahead.
So I think it was another conversation, maybe, I don't know, a couple weeks later or whatever. I'm on a call with Linda. We're just talking. And, of course, this is 5 or 6 years ago now, so I'm kind of trying to remember how it went. But anyway, we're sitting there talking, right? And all of a sudden I hear this male voice say, tell her it's Jim. And I'm like, what the hell was that? And I ignored it because I was like, what? Where did that come from? And I keep talking, we're talking, and probably a couple seconds more, and I hear it again, completely ignored it. Third time. And again, I'm trying to remember, so don't quote me on this, and Linda can validate this.
We don't know any
wrong.
different, so you're good.
Yeah, I know, Linda, though. But, so the third time I hear him say, tell her it's Jim, I passed with cancer. And I stopped Linda. I was like, look, I'm hearing this voice. It's a male. He's telling me his name. He's saying he passed the cancer. She goes, that's my father. I was like, what?
And his name was Jim.
What?
Sure.
I think so. I don't quote me. I think it was. I know I heard his name. Yeah. She said, yeah, it's my dad. And I just froze. And if I recall correctly, we had a friendly argument back and forth because she had said, well, you're a medium. And I was like, no, I'm not. So we went back and forth for about 5 minutes saying, I'm like, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. And she's like, yes, you are. Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. So really from there, it's kind of when things kind of started moving. Both her and Jan, they said, you know what, you should take a class with this friend of ours, Mimi Bonham, I think she was on CE Mediums. So they put me in touch with Mimi, and I took a class. And this is kind of where I want people to listen, because this is kind of where things really clicked for me. Now, with Mimi, she taught a 4-week beginner's intuition class, okay? Now, granted, I said, I had read about mediums for years. I'd watched John Edward. I had never heard or read a medium talk about how they actually receive their information. So in my mind, it was all TV. I'm seeing, thought mediums saw spirit like they do people. So unless I was experiencing that, I had no idea. So I take this class with Mimi. Each week we learned about a new clair. So week 1 was like clairsentience, okay? As soon as Mimi started talking about clairsentience, and she explained that most mediums, over 90%, everything's mental, meaning in your mind. And as soon as she said that, I was like, holy crap. I was like, things started clicking like, yeah, I see stuff like that. I have my whole life. And then we get into clairaudience the next week.
Seriously?
Yeah.
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 Oh.
So clairaudience, same thing. I thought, unless you hear spirit with your physical ear, it's not mediumship. I didn't know. Then she explains, no, it's like your internal thoughts, like your self-talk. That's the voice you normally hear. And I was like, oh, my God.
Yeah.
And literally the light bulb went on, and I don't know how, where, why I decided, I got to explore this. I literally started a Facebook page with the sole intention of connecting with people just to try this out. And I told Spirit from day one, it's like, I'm not working with symbols. It's like, you give it to me clear, or I don't have the patience or the attention span.
Exactly, yes. What does a rose mean? What does a rock mean to you? Does it have any significance? No.
That's not me. I am a simple person, and anybody who knows me and has seen my work, they know that I'm a simple person.
But I do not like that at all. And a lot of these, like Lisa something, or I don't know, but there are a lot that do that. It's open to so many possibilities. Rose means something for me. I got one for my, in high school, and when they were doing Carnation Day or Rose Day. I totally agree.
Yeah, it's so that was my agreement with Spirit from day one, and I could go on, but it just things started unfolding. I mean, I started, like I said, I think back then I was with CE. I was a medium for a while. I ended up getting on YouTube somehow with Mimi. I didn't realize it, or maybe I didn't hear her say it, but somehow people started knowing me, and people started knowing my work from around the world. I'm like, how the hell did this happen? I didn't advertise. I still don't advertise. Everything has been word of mouth, and it just is. It's one of those things I have to say, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. Yeah.
It's spirit. Yeah. Just like Erik was saying that that whole progression when you were talking there, he says that whole progression of after Jackie passed and finding Elisa and Jamie on YouTube and everything, that was all spirit. And Erik I'll just cut in and say, because Erik works with us too. When, if you remember, Michael, we had that group with Michael, myself, Linda Hack, Denise Ramon, and Monique.
Elena.
Yes, and we got together once a week, and we worked with our abilities, and Erik would pop in all the time and talk to us and work with us, and that was, I know, for me, and I think, Michael, for you too, that really helped, because we all were able to share our experiences and talk about what we were going through.
Yeah.
And that was way back in 2015.
Yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so how does Erik come into the story? Of course, her mother has to know, but I know, of course, you watched the YouTube. But can you tell me a little bit more about how Erik personally came into your life? If you did,
I mean,
I apologize in advance. I apologize in advance.
Oh no. Well, I read both of the books. And like I said, I somehow, like I said, I was a medium for a while on the page. Everything just blends together, because I was kind of in and out with things, because I was like, I felt, working full time, I was in so many different directions. It's hard to keep track of.
Oh, yeah.
But I mean, it was like Michelle said, we were in that group together. So I had channeled Erik a few times way back when. I remember one day specifically, I thought about this earlier today or yesterday, because, you know, I heard about Erik's pranks and all that, and Linda and I were talking. I was in in my home office right here, and I was like, you know, he never pranked me before. I said that, and literally 5 seconds, my smoke alarm goes off in the hallway. I told them, I about crapped. I threw my headset down and said, I'll be right back. I'm running up and down the hall. I'm looking around. I don't smell smoke. My wife's in the bathroom in the shower, and I'm like, what the hell's going on here? As soon as I came up under the smoke detector, I see Erik pop in smiling and laughing at me, and it immediately shut off. I was like, you son of a bitch. He scared the holy bejesus out of me.
Oh, my God. That's so cute.
Oh my God.
I love him. Oh,
he's good at doing the smoke alarms. He does that a lot.
Are you and Erik buddies? I mean, do you channel him a lot? Are y'all tight?
No, actually I haven't for probably, it's been years. Like I said, it's kind of, my direction of my work has just gone in so many different directions. And it's kind of not, I don't plan any of my work. It kind of just goes. And I just kind of, you know, like I said, it's again, with going through the sickness and everything, I don't plan. I literally live one day at a time. I don't plan.
How are you doing physically?
Oh, physically, I'm great. I'm this December will be 11 years post-transplant.
Oh, holy crap. All right, let me ask Erik. Can I ask Erik some questions?
Yeah.
To both of you. Erik, you know, here's a guy who came in like me, only even worse, with so much freaking crap on his plate this incarnation. So obviously, he had to come in on purpose, unusually high vibration. Otherwise, he would never have survived this, emotionally, mentally, etc. So is he an earth angel? Does he have some sort of, he had to have some angelic vibration in order to survive, right? Or no? I don't know.
Well, he does. Erik's actually saying he's got he's got Arcturian energy. He says that he put a lot on his plate in this lifetime, but he says that a lot of what had happened, he was in a lot of resistance throughout his life because he had different points in his life where he could have opened up to his abilities. Erik says everything has purpose to it. Everything that he went through, there's a lot of purpose. And it also speaks to, Erik says, how he works. He connects with a very big variety of people, and he connects with a lot of people that have had tragedy in their life. So Erik said that what he experienced in his own life and the losses that he felt, and also his own physical illness and facing his own mortality, was very much part of his being able to have empathy and reach people in that connection. And he also says, Michael, to you, that he's around you probably more than you realize that he is. And I don't know if you know this or I mentioned this to you or not, but he wants to remind you or wants you to know that he wanted you on this show tonight. He's the one that pulled you in and wanted you on here tonight. And so I think you're going to find Erik popping in a lot more often because he's looking at his watch like it's time. So you're going to hear a lot more from him and popping in and working around you. Because he's got quite a little smirk on his face, like he's got something up his sleeve. And he also, Erik, he likes the way you talk. He likes the way you talk, he says.
It's funny because I do, you know, he pops into my mind. It's not often, but I'm thinking back, and there's times I think, am I just making this up? You know, I'm like, why would Erik be around me today or whatever? But I know over the last week, I was like, I just felt something. I couldn't put my finger on it. But I have to mention one other thing, because what you said makes perfect sense about being prepared. I almost died at birth also. I have to talk about that because I forgot all about it. At one day old.
Oh, my God. It starts from the very beginning.
Yeah, I had to have surgery. I had a hole in my esophagus, and back in '69, obviously they didn't have MRIs, so they just had to open me up. And that's basically what it was. It was like, we don't think he's going to survive, but we're going to try. And so that was one day old, you know, and I know that I had the chance to go back to the other side. I've had that feeling before,
that's
and
exactly
I chose
what
to
Erik
stay.
just said. That's what Erik said. Yeah.
But what you were saying, Michelle, about being prepared, I often wonder, I'm like, why wasn't I aware of my abilities up till that point? And I mean, the answer was, I had experienced all that to be able to empathize.
Yeah.
Have empathy. I can't say empathize. To have empathy towards people that were dealing. Yeah. So, you know, it makes perfect sense.
But, you know, being in the armed services made, I mean, like me being a physician and a scientist, that made it hard.
Yes.
You know, put up all this. So maybe that didn't make it so easy either. I don't know. I don't want to put words.
Oh, yeah. No, I've had that same thought. That was not the right time to be a medium. You know, I had other things going on.
Yeah.
And again, I know things come around when they're supposed to, and, you know, but it came full force. I mean, I resisted at first because I was like, I'm not a medium. You know, it was nothing I ever even thought. And here I am now doing this full time, well, part time, but it's going that way to be full time. But I mean, I've tried to run away like many mediums have, because, you know, after a while it just gets to you. But sometime I'll have to share a story with you about one of those moments, because I don't think we have time for it. But it was one of the days.
I think we'll probably have to have part 2 and part 3 and part 4. But Erik, I want to ask Erik, why was it important, or was it, for him to go into the armed forces?
I mean, I know that reason on a physical.
What his spiritual mission? What his spiritual mission is? But those two. Nothing.
Well, it has to do with his being grounded. It has to do with just the type of person he is, and it was very much like he says, the type of person that he is and the type of medium he is, and it's how he connects to other people. Like Erik says, like the left brain. He says he's not up in the upper chakras. Not to say that there's anything wrong with that, but he says going through his life and walking through life, it's like having 2 different lives in one. And the experience being in the armed forces has, he says it's a way that he's able to connect with different people as well. There's a lot that the armed forces taught him and continues to teach him about his discipline, about his, what's the word, Erik? But going forward, he keeps saying going forward in discipline. And Michael, because I know this about you too, he's saying there's a way that you are with people when you do a demonstration, and you often do demonstrations and you call yourself an evidential medium because you do bring forth evidence. And you do bring forth evidence for who's sitting with you or who's in your audience, to help them really connect and know who it is that they have there, that it is their loved one. And what Erik is saying is that part of your personality and what you learned through the armed forces comes through when you teach people, because you don't just bring forth spirit. You often talk about what it is that you're doing as you're going through it. Right. You talk about I'm feeling this person, this is how they're coming in, this is what I'm smelling, this is what I'm seeing, this is what I'm experiencing, the way that you teach. So he says there's a very unique process to how you do it. And a lot of that, he says, maybe not directly in how we might think you learn, but there's a lot of structure that you learned through the forces.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Yeah.
Not to mention, he also says the people. There's also people that you connected with that had importance to you as well.
It's funny that, you know, people have said this. They say at first we see your picture and we think they're intimidated. I'm like, I'm 5'8" and 160 pounds. I don't intimidate anybody, you know. But it's, you know, and of course, you know, mostly women come to mediums. I mean, very few men, but I'm changing that in a way. But, you know, it's a comment I get is like, you know, I hesitated booking an appointment with you, but within like 10 seconds, your energy and your personality just disarms and all that goes away and you're just genuine. And I'm like, well, that's a compliment. Sure. Thank you. So, this isn't me saying
that's
this.
Awesome.
This is
Okay, Erik, can you share another life that Michael had that is most influential for this one? It could be another, a galactic one. I don't know. But can you do that? Maybe.
Okay, let's see here.
I love you.
He's like, I love you, Mom.
I love you.
Okay, let's see. He's actually showing Michael in a very secluded life. He's calling this a life of preparation, and he's showing him being secluded away from people. Okay, let's see here. Of all the things he's showing me, Michael living on a mountain or a hill, being by himself. He says like a mountain man.
I can validate that for you because I had a past life regression. So that was.
Oh wow!
You had that. Okay, all right. Because he's showing me these images, and he says part of what these connections have to do with, on a personal level, has to do with relationships and Michael pushing himself outside of these boundaries, because that lifetime that he had with a lot of seclusion, there was a lot of inner work, a lot of work that was done on a very personal level, but he also shut people out. He preferred to be by himself. And in this lifetime, he was given a lot of connection and was pushed into scenarios where he was surrounded by people. And at times, he says Michael doesn't always like that.
I don't.
So
I fight for my for my alone time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Well, okay. So, Erik, do you have anything to say to Michael? Any advice? Anything at all? And give him a heads up on what kind of pranks you're gonna do on him next.
Well, he says first of all, he goes, dude, it's just the beginning. It's just the beginning. Yeah. He says, I know we've said this a few times, saying Michelle and him and Erik, but he says, dude, this is just the beginning, because you're making a lot of choices for yourself that is starting to spark some new energies. And he says the last round of stepping out was practice. He says this stepping out in this new phase of your life does have a lot of opportunity to it. He says to keep pushing your boundaries. He says as far as pranks goes, he's like, I'll say sorry in advance. Sorry, not sorry. Like, sorry, not sorry. He's laughing a little bit about it. But he's also saying he promises not to do anything with the airplanes.
Please no.
with the equipment at work. He says he's putting his hands up like I'm hands off of all of that stuff, but he can't promise some other things.
Yeah.
He can't promise other things. And watch your phone when you're at work. Watch your phone, because he's focusing in on your cell phone. So there's something he's going to do with that. But he's just saying that you are an excellent demonstrator, meaning that he says you do very well in large crowds.
Yeah,
you have a real knack with that.
I just did my first one in over almost 2 years last week because of COVID, just things.
Oh, yeah.
But it felt good to be actually in front of people again. And so, yeah, it was good.
Awesome.
He's giving you a tap on the heart, and he says, keep teaching from that heart, from your experience.
Oh, yeah.
Keep teaching from there. And he goes, you'll do just fine.
Yep, that's how I teach. I don't have an outline. I don't have a set agenda. It's like I teach from my experience, because I've had very few classes, because I feel for me, I have to learn my own way. I have to do it my way, and I keep things simple. And that's kind of where, when I teach, I break it down. So, like, I focus on nothing but communicating with spirit. Just that's it. We don't get into the chakras, which stuff I don't understand. I mean, it sounds weird for a medium to say that I don't understand a lot. I don't, because I'm like, no, it's the same thing with everything. I have to keep things simple. It's like, no, all I want to do is talk to those on the other side. How do I do it? How do I cut through all the noise?
Yep.
Not that all of that stuff is not important. It is. There's a human need for a lot of that. But for me personally, when I work, I just want to connect with spirit. So I just, for me, brought it down to that basic level. What do I need to do just to be able to talk to spirit? And that's how I teach. People can learn about chakras and energy and all that, with other people that know a heck of a lot more than I do. But my focus is to make people understand. It's like you just got to get the mind out of the way. Everybody connects to spirit. I teach that on day one. Students connect, because it's just the way that I teach it and connect and teach them how basic it is and get their mind out of the way. So it's just one of those things that I have a passion for it, because I want people to know, if we could eliminate mediums, I'd be the happiest person in the world, because I don't say that lightly, but to see a person light up when they get a message for themselves means everything to me.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. That is awesome. That's the truth. Yeah.
All right, so we can get in touch with you. If people, if they want to develop their mediumship skills, or of course if they want readings, I guess, right? They go to michaelchristophermedia.com, right?
Yes.
And so you can teach them also.
Yeah, yeah, and it's simpler. I don't say this lightly when I say it's simple and it's easy. It is. It's just we have to just get our mind out of the way and just. I could go into this right now, but I'm not. But I'm just saying it's like it's everybody can do this. I am nobody special. I'll tell you that right now. It's just I've learned how spirit communicates. I've learned how to speak energy.
Yeah, exactly. So. Yeah. Awesome. Okay, so one last question before we take calls, or of course you can add anything after this too. Yeah. But Erik, how do you want to work with him? Do you want me to do a Zoom interview with him? Do you want Channeling Erik to somehow do anything, or is it totally necessary? What?
Yes, Erik wants to bring him on and do a channel session with him. Yes. Yeah, he's already told me that.
Like what? Like a live YouTube channel? Or?
Yeah, like do a he says that to bring somebody through. He says that Michael has a really unique style of how he connects with the other side, and he would like people to be able to see another version of how Michael connects and with Erik and you, like an interview or something on Channeling Erik.
Yes. We could do a Zoom interview, but we could also then do a YouTube live where we just channel people.
Yes. Yes.
Channel for people. Oh, for you.
Yeah, like taking callers kind of thing. I love doing that. Like taking callers.
Awesome.
Yes. Yeah, he's got his fishing rod out, Michael, and he's got his hook in you and reeling you in.
That's awesome. All right, Michael, are you ready can we all take callers or?
Oh, yeah.
Yes. No, all right, awesome. Let me see who is number one is person with a 775 area code. Hi there, how are you?
Hi, thank you both. My name is Wendy from California.
Hi, Wendy.
Nice
how are
to
you?
meet both of you. Oh,
hi, Wendy.
I'm wondering if you might be able to see how something will turn out for me. Is it okay to ask a question?
Well, of course.
Oh,
that's
absolutely.
what we're here for.
Okay. I bought some very expensive china from a well-known department store that starts with an M. There's a C in the name. And I love that store. And anyway, when I got it, it did not look as pretty as the picture, and it had some flaws in it. So I called customer service, and the man said he would send me an email with a label. And I said, well, I need 3 different labels because there's 3 boxes. And he said, oh, just put the same label on each box. And that's not right. I called back, and they sent the United Parcel Company out that we all know, and they put 2 different labels on the other 2 boxes. Well, the good news is I did get a quick refund for 4 of the sets because they sent them to a very local warehouse for the department store. The other box got sent 2,000 miles away in Oklahoma. But UPS did email me proof that they got it, the date and the scan time and everything. And also, customer service said the computer doesn't like it when you start returning things of a large order, so they froze my online shopping. I spoke to a supervisor by the name of Andrea. She fixed it immediately, but then it stopped again. So I've been trying to reach her, but I've not talked to her. So do you see me? My bank is now helping me with the $152.98 that they owe me. So I'm pretty confident I'll get that back. But I really want to see my online shopping reinstated. Will I get my online shopping reinstated and very soon?
I kept seeing resolution, so yes, I definitely see it will be resolved. And I was seeing 3, and I was like, okay, is this 3 weeks, 3 months? And I'm leaning more towards 3 weeks is what I'm feeling.
All right. Okay. So I will get my now how am I going to get my online shopping, because regular customer service won't help me with that. So my strategy is I want my Bank of America to help me to get, because my bank will communicate with their bank, and I fax over proof to them of the UPS proof of receipt, all that. So I'm waiting until I get my $152 back. How am I going to approach getting my online shopping back?
I'm not seeing that. Like I said, it's just in a manner like on the radio show here. It's just really quick. All I see is resolution, so I see a complete resolution.
It's gonna be fine.
Okay.
What was
that?
Be fine. It's gonna be fine. I don't know how it's gonna happen, but it's gonna be fine.
Maybe I should call the corporate office.
Yeah, maybe the corporate office. Yeah. All right. Good. Thanks for calling.
Okay. God bless you both. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank
you. Okay, got somebody from the 347 area code. How you doing?
Hi, I'm doing good. My name is Maribel. I'm calling from New York.
Hi, Maribel from New York. How can we help you, sweetie?
I wanted some insight into like love and relationships.
We're all ears. Go ahead, sweetie. Do you have a specific question?
Do you have a question?
Yeah. Oh, I said it already. Did you not hear me?
It's kind of coming through weak. Can you say it again, please?
Gotcha. In terms of like relationships and love, just
what's the question?
General reading.
Just the general.
Oh no,
Michelle, are you getting anything?
If you can ask a specific question.
Can you narrow it down a little bit, because it's like, are you looking for somebody specific? Is that what you're hoping for?
Not anyone specific right now, but more so, I guess, potential.
So are you asking if you're going to get love in your life, and if so, when?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to share with you what Erik is just saying right away. Is he says that, right now he says there's a sense of not feeling completely happy, or like a dissatisfaction in your life. And he says, is there love coming into your life? He says, yeah. He goes, of course there is, but he says there's a sense of you not really appreciating yourself, not having a real love and appreciation for yourself. And he says there's, it's like the energy of resistance is in not sure if there is something coming for you, or if there would be success for you. He says that's the energy that's a little bit stronger. So he says do some focusing on yourself, on what it is that you need for you. And he says, and become really clear on what it is that you're looking for, because right now your energy is a little bit fragmented, meaning that you're not 100% sure what it is you want. You want to feel good, you want to feel better, and you want connection. But he says start to become a little more clear on what it is that you're looking for, because to bring in a relationship and something that is best suited for you, because he says you could bring in somebody and have a relationship, but you want to bring in who is right for you. You want to bring in the best experiences for you. So he says start being really clear about what it is that you're looking for. He says, you know the things that you don't like, but have you really looked at the things that you do like?
All right, so, well, let me ask you this. Is there any, can you give her some specific advice?
I'm sorry?
Erik, like, would benefit by the Atlantic Scalar, opening up the closed portals that should be open to bring in abundance of love and abundance of all that?
Yes, he says yes, portal work, and he also says on a physical level in your life, he says you need to have some fun. You need to have some fun. Like he says, do some things that create fun for you, whether it's music or something.
I'm feeling you're a person that needs to understand that you deserve all good things in your life. And when you do, really, when you really get that, then you will get the things that of course you deserve. And
that's exactly right.
Yeah. All right. I think you need a session with, Michelle or Michael. I think there's more to be told here to open up love for you, and I know it will happen. I think. Thank you
for you, Maribel.
Okay, thank you.
You bet.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Okay. Somebody from the 818 area code. Hi there.
Hi, this is Shelley from Los Angeles, and I want to ask a question on behalf of somebody else, Gemma Jade, and it's for a mother of Caleb Smith. If you can bring through Caleb.
Michael, you want to get that one?
I didn't. It was kind of breaking up. Can I hear that again, please?
Caleb, how do you spell Caleb? With a K or a C?
With the K, I believe, but it might be C. But it's Caleb, and then Smith. Okay. And whether or not I want to do this for his mother or whoever's investigating it, whether or not we're going to see something come of this case.
Okay, so is this a murder case?
Yes.
Okay, because that's I don't know what this is about, but I'm just seeing murder.
Yes.
Oh.
Was this a young boy, like 4?
No, young adult.
Young adult.
20.
I don't know why I was seeing a 4-year-old or something.
No, maybe that murder. Maybe whoever murdered him murdered somebody 4 years old.
I will say this is what I'm feeling. This is probably more for the family right now, because what I'm feeling is to tell them not to. They need to just let the police and the system kind of work, because I'm feeling like they need to be cautious about getting personally involved, because there's danger with that. I'm not connecting with this individual, but I'm feeling this that needs to be told that as hard as this is, they just need to they need to stay in the background, because there's still danger out there of people finding people that are kind of looking for things. So it's kind of one of those, just let the police do their work.
Okay.
Erik, what are you getting? What's going on? What happened?
Well, I can get did he go missing?
Yes, he was missing. And they found him, and it was every way of how they found him was very suspicious. And a girl 2 days later went missing, and they haven't found her.
Yeah, because there's and that matches exactly what you were saying, Michael. Because what Erik was sharing with me is it's like what who is responsible, and there may be more than one person responsible, or that there might be one person, another one that knows, but there is danger. So there's something that's still occurring, and it seems like the police, because Eric's saying that this is active, and it's
okay.
There's another one, or there's somebody else that this may be connected to that has either gone missing and they found the body and they don't know who's responsible for it. A third.
Okay. Oh my. Okay. Yes, that would make sense.
Okay. Now I don't have Caleb's energy here, and I asked Erik if he could bring Caleb in, and I'm not getting him pulled right in to give you a direct message, and part of that is timing. And it might be for Caleb's mother at the right time, but there's a focus. What Erik is saying is that he's okay. His spirit is with family, helping comfort them more than anything. There'll be a time when Caleb will be ready to communicate, or when it's more about family. It's not that Caleb can't. It's about family. But there'll be resolution to this inward and care for yourself. I keep getting have faith. Have faith. But there's somebody who's going to strike or want to strike again, and there's a sense of this person's being caught.
Well, what's a 4-year-old have? Is there a 4-year-old that is in danger? Is a 4-year-old that's been killed? I mean, is he reincarnated as a 4-year-old? There's something there.
Is that a third? Is that the third victim?
No, I have to say, because Shelley, can I ask you something really quick?
Yes.
If you're open. When I was seeing a 4-year-old, like I said, when they come in, sometimes I feel. All right, I'll just put it out there. And if you're open for it, but I'm just feeling that somebody either lost a child, and that child would be 4 now, because I was confused at first because I was feeling a 4-year-old. Did you or somebody in your family lose a birth or a pregnancy?
No, not that I know of.
Okay.
Could it be a third victim?
No. This is not. This is connected. Spirit just shows up to me, so I'm just feeling the spirit of somebody who would be 4 right now.
It's connected to you, Shelley.
Yeah.
I lost my best friend. I lost my best friend almost 4 years ago.
I don't want to make it fit because, like I said, I was feeling a 4-year-old.
Right.
So it may not be connected to you. I know there's other people on the line. So let me just go ahead, because I know there's other people listening. I'll just put this out because I don't want to push this young man aside. He just wants his mother to know that there's nothing you could have done, and they're saying to quit blaming the doctors. There's nothing the doctors could have done to prevent the loss of this child.
All right, so
and he's saying, because I feel male, and he'd be 4 years old, like right around this time. So I'll just leave it at that. And that's just a message for the mother that
maybe
that's listening.
Well, I also do medium work, so maybe that's someone coming to me next.
Maybe.
Oh, interesting.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
Thank you. I love you.
I love you too, and I love you, Erik. I love you, Michelle Gray at healing-art.com, and Michael Christopher medium.com. You guys check them out, and Michael, Michelle, you guys hook up with me so we can figure out what the next step is going forward. Love you guys.
Sounds great. Thank you.
Love you.